over here at the left side of Belshire Beach is our Protoss player from Team Slayers.
Puzzle fans in the audience.
Giving some claps. And here on the bottom right, in the blue, is the Protoss player who just doesn't manage to beat other Protosses. And in fact, lost his match versus Genius earlier.
Yeah, and they had basically a rematch on the same map that they played on previously, and the game ended in a similar fashion with Genius killing him with Colossi. They played in the Team League playoff.
Oh yeah, that was the same map, wasn't it?
Yeah, same map, same matchup, same guys. Genius took it again.
Same game.
Yeah.
Same studio.
Same studio, man. Same time, practically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be it, guys. Only one Protoss will advance, but good news for Protoss fans. One Protoss will advance to Code S out of this. So
guaranteed
that is
to have at least one.
Absolutely guaranteed.
Now, Puzzle, of course, was in Code S and just lost both of his matches in his Code S group, so he would be going back to Code S in this situation, so it wouldn't be new blood exactly.
Right.
But
double gas taken from Sage. A very bold move on this map. This map is similar to Tal'Darim Altar in that there's a kind of a choke point into the main, but you can forgate quite easily because there's no clearly defined ramp. But it looks like after scouting that, Puzzle decides to take a second gas of his own.
Probe from Puzzle trying to harass the probes of Sage. Doing a little bit.
Yeah.
Shield damage, but too shabby. Nothing too much going on there.
Workgate research for Sage is going to be far ahead. He's spinning Chrono Boost on this. His Cybernetics core was done about 6 to 8 seconds faster than that of Puzzle.
That's interesting.
So his Warpgate research is going to be way ahead, which won't come too much into play since neither of these players are going for a Warpgate timing attack.
Yeah. Sometimes that can be really, really important. I mean, 5 seconds, your Warpgate research coming 5 seconds later will lose you a game in a Warpgate versus Warpgate situation.
Absolutely. Well, a second gateway is completed for Sage, whereas Puzzle is actually opted to stay with just one gate for now. He's actually going to add 2 more by the looks of things, going up to 3 gates without adding any tech. Very interesting. Twilight Council goes down. Oh!
Huh.
Twilight Council goes down and...
for Sage, yeah.
Yeah, and this probe almost got in there, but not quite.
Puzzle just going for those 3 gateways, just going to try and put out a decent amount of units right now. I'm not sure if he's maybe waiting to scout Sage before he makes a tech choice or something, but normally you'd see at least a Robo at this point in time.
You can see Puzzle's gas getting quite high. Oh, Dark Shrine going down for Sage, and this is actually really fortunate for Sage, given that Puzzle has not made a robotics, nor has he made a forge, nor has he made any tech choices. What is he going to do? Make sentries? I was literally going to say, what is he going to do? Make sentries? And then he makes sentries. I actually do not comprehend what Puzzle is doing, man.
But there's the Robo now. You know what? He may have been afraid of a 4-gate or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like,
and
this is a good
was
map
like
for
trying
4-gate.
to get 3 gateways and sentries out to defend just in case it was a 4-gate or something.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good map for 4-gate, but he saw the 2 gases.
Yeah.
And then he took his own second gas and then didn't use it. And that puts him way behind. But in this case, with the Robo going up and the Dark Shrine going up, things may just reset overall.
Yeah.
And, of course, smartly, Sage getting his own forge.
Oh, did Sage just
he canceled
scout the Robo?
Forge.
He just sent a probe in there. No, he didn't see the Robo.
He didn't see it.
The probe got in far enough to get hit by those stalkers, but did not quite get to see the Robo.
He saw the sentry, and at that moment he knew there cannot be a Dark Shrine if there's a sentry, so he canceled his forge. When you go Dark Templar, though, you have to make a forge because your opponent could also be going Dark Templar.
Yeah.
And now both Watchtowers have been taken by Sage, and the Observer is actually not being made. There's an Immortal being made.
Oh, no, and the Dark Templar is running in. He probably is going to cancel it. He sees it now. He's not canceling his Immortal.
There he
Finally
goes. He cancels it.
And the probes are just going to have to run around in circles while the Observer is made.
He's not chrono boosting the Observer either. Some decisions here that I cannot fully comprehend.
Well, I have no idea why he wouldn't. He has the energy. And why is the Dark Templar leaving?
Because he didn't know that an Immortal was being made. So he was like, the Observer should pop out around now. But
well, still, you want to try and, I don't know. I would have thought personally that he would have wanted to try to get as many kills as possible.
I think he just got too frustrated because Puzzle actually pulled his probes really well with that force field. The DT was just kind of like, and he was like, well, I just want to get out of here. But even so, yeah, I personally probably would have tried to get a few more things, but I can agree with this choice there. But
well,
here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. He's got Blink now and a Nexus going up.
Yeah,
and that's where he's got an advantage here, even though his DTs did no damage really. He killed a few probes, and in total killed about 7.
Well, here's the other thing, though, is Sage doesn't have an army. Puzzle has a huge army. If Puzzle attacked right now with his 1 observer, he would actually just win the game. And I don't think Sage or Puzzle realizes that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think neither of them realize that. And now Puzzle is going to send his first observer, that same observer that chased away the DT, down across the map. He's actually going to see that his opponent has no army, and in reply might actually just leave a second observer at home and attack with the rest of his army.
I think that's a strong possibility.
He's making a robotics support bay right now. And Blink.
No, Puzzle's made a Nexus of his own, but he still could. Once he sees there's no army there, he should at least put a little pressure on.
Yeah, I agree at 100%. As long as he can be careful, so that DT that's always lurking around is not.
There's the observer.
Yeah, he sees no army. He says, "Oh, you've got just 4 sentries," and yet still decides not to attack. This is actually, I don't want to be blunt, but it's like mind-boggling. There's 4 sentries there. There's 6 stalkers out in the middle of the map with Blink as well, but
they're in the middle of the map, and they could have been picked
we
off.
talked a lot about how Sage's PvP is not very good, but in this case, man, Puzzle is making all the wrong choices. He's actually made a second Robo. I like that. That's the first choice he's made that I like, because now he's got a Nexus. He's going to be able to make 2 Colossi at a time. He knows, because he scouted with that Observer, that his opponent has a Twilight Council. I mean, he already knew the Twilight Council was there. He knows Blink is going to come into play here. He knows his opponent does not have a robotic support base, so he knows he's going to get super ahead.
But if he gets Thermal Lance and like 3 Colossi out, the Blink won't really make that much of a difference unless he just tries to play positionally, like blink into the main and stuff.
Yeah. Now the robotic support bay of Sage is now being warped in as well. And we're going to have a passive moment here where neither player attacks nor defends. We're going to have an observer conflict here. The Blink is going to be shown, and he will get that observer with that Blink.
It's always good to do that, especially if you have Dark Shrine lying around. Pick off your opponent's observers so that in the midst of battle or in an emergency situation, you can warp in some DTs and maybe catch them off guard.
Yeah. 2 Colossi being made now for Puzzle to narrow the supply gap. 12 supply coming out there.
And no Thermal Lance yet, though.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough resources with the double Colossi. He also hasn't taken his gases as natural, something that his opponent Sage has done. And Sage is actually making his second Robo.
Hopefully we'll see Thermal Lance in just a minute once he gets enough gas for it.
But remember, guys, something that Sage still has and will always have for the remainder of this game is Blink. And that is one thing that's going to... That's one thing that's always going to come into play.
He's never going to lose it. You can't take that away from him.
You can't take it away, but you can take away some of his hit points if he tries to attack like that.
Yeah.
But in this case... This is how PvP used to be always. It would just kind of be a game where both people sit back and then make Colossi and then attack eventually, and someone has more Colossi and the game ends.
And Puzzle's making double Immortals instead of more Colossus.
And I really like that, but only for 1 round of Immortals. I think he should switch back into Colossi afterwards because he knows his opponent's making Colossi now too.
Yeah.
And the Colossus count is so important. But in this case, if it becomes a base race, Sage has Blink Stalkers, and that's really, really helpful.
Yeah. Well, although, if it does become a base race, Immortals are pretty handy to have as well.
Yeah, Immortals can be handy. The problem, though, is that with Blink Stalkers, you can catch your opponent's army, you can kill his structures, you can... You know, if you're winning the battle, and, like, for example, if Puzzle goes to attack Sage and you can't hold, you can just use the Blink Stalkers instead.
Oh,
no! Ooh! Wants to get a Colossus, but actually is not going to. He's actually losing a lot of Stalkers here as well. Might get a Pylon. Oh man, this is actually
out of there.
Way not worth it to get that pylon for all those units that he lost. And Puzzle actually now only 6 supply behind until the 2 Colossi were just started by Sage. Thermal Lance will finish for Sage faster. Right now the Colossus count is 2-2. It's about to be 2-4 though in the favor of Sage. And now the Colossus count is behind for Puzzle. He's going to continue to use these Blink Stalkers.
Yeah,
but he's got to be so careful with those. I think it's actually time to stop.
Yeah, and he saw that the Stalkers and the Colossus were a little bit too close, because basically what you need is you need to have enough leeway that you can blink in and they can't counterattack you until your blink cools down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise then you can just lose stuff. You need to be able to blink out to escape. That's the whole point of the blink, is that you can blink in, do damage, and then blink out again without losing stuff. But having his army too close is going to stop him from being able to do that. So smart move by Sage to not go in there.
And
More
one
Colossus.
Immortal and one Colossus on the way now for Sage. He's trying to keep his Immortal count quite high.
Both of them are 2 Robo.
But here's the thing: when the Immortal, when the Colossus count reaches 3 or higher, Immortals become practically useless. So I'm really surprised that he's continuing to make Immortals. If he continues to make Immortals after this, he's actually, I would just call it immediately he's going to lose, but no, he's not. He's just continuing to make Colossi. Now, both players actually making a Forge. The Forge for Puzzle a little bit faster. She's getting +1 now. Remember, the more attack upgrades you get on the splash damage unit, the more damage that unit will do overall, and in this case for the Colossi, it's very important. Now, what we're going to see here is actually, I think, Sage blinking into the main with his Stalkers and then attacking the front with the rest of his army. I think that's the best thing he could do here. It's going to be hard, though.
Well, Puzzle has split some of his army apart.
He's going to have that defender's advantage with 2 more Colossi each time. He's going to pick off this pylon here. He's going to lose a lot of Colossi. They're attacking at the front. Here he goes. This could be it.
Goodness. 5 Colossus powering in from behind there. They're not able to, actually in a good position to do a ton of damage. They're only hitting a few Zealots at a time. Finally, they're moving forward. They hit the opponent's Puzzle with a random Colossus attacking in the back. Is going to get picked off. No, it's not going to get picked off because he's not focusing it. 4 Colossus versus 5. Another one coming in from behind. One of Puzzle's falls, or one of Sage's falls. Puzzle has way more Colossus, but Sage has more units on the ground, driving him back. I think Puzzle will be able to micro to victory, though, and yes, he does with an extra Colossus there.
But another Colossus has joined into Sage's army as well, and he has an Immortal this time, and he actually could have just pushed through and won there, but he's not aware of it. I think with another round of units, though, Sage will take this game, and Puzzle will be eliminated here. Let's find out.
Puzzle getting that warp in nailed by the Colossus before they can even warp in. 2 Colossus.
A better concave for Sage on his Colossi.
And Puzzle's microing the injured Colossus back. So
but his Colossi are not firing, and that is the key. Another Colossus, 2 Colossi pop out here, though. He may hold this.
Beautiful
this is so
timing
close.
On those, but he might lose a couple of his own. They're so low on health. He does. Sage loses all of
barely.
his. Puzzle holds with 3 Colossus left.
And now this Colossus count is 3-2. With 2 more about to pop out for Sage and 1 more about to pop out for Puzzle. So we're about to have a 4-4 Colossus count here again. And this is actually, this is a huge anomaly in PvP. In a PvP Colossi on Colossi battle, just these little things that happen to give one player an advantage and it just ends. The game just ends there. But in this case, both players mismarking a few things. The defender's advantage becomes crazy when you have 2 Colossi coming out at a time. Neither player could get their the Colossi at a better concave for a long period of time because of the way that the map is. Beautiful blink up here, though. Remember that blink, like I said, is always going to come into play. Wow.
Wow, indeed. Yeah, this is crazy. And yeah, neither player, I thought it was interesting. It was fought in a small choke. Normally, Colossus versus Colossus. Oh.
And this 1 DT, this is the exact reason why I saved it, for stuff like this. That 1 DT will force a cancel on that pylon. Actually didn't cancel it, and he may even have to cancel that Nexus if he can't keep up with his multitasking. This actually happens a lot in PvP. Right? He's got an observer at the wrong side of the map. He's actually going to have to cancel this Nexus.
And he
just has no choice.
Stalkers there as well. Oh,
Observer's getting close.
There. Yeah, he's targeting on the Stalkers, though, and the Nexus is saved for the moment.
So is the DT, actually, though. And I really thought he wasn't going to be able to get there in time. Well, the Dark Shrine for Puzzle is going to finish very soon, and he's going to be able to do his own harassments. And the reason why he's done this is because he's seen time and time again with the Observer of his own in the main base of Sage. He's like, oh, well, I know you don't have an Observer here. If I warp in 5 DTs, guess how many of those Colossi are going to die before you get another Observer there? All of them. DTs are faster than Colossi. The Colossi cannot run away.
Oh, and almost psychically, Sage starts production of an Observer, though. But the DTs for Puzzle are running across the map, and actually the Observer is going to pop out at just the same moment that the DTs walk into the natural. It's actually going to be disastrous.
Yeah, it's a huge investment for Puzzle. He is going to be able to spot this 3rd base, though.
Oh, although he's sending 1 to the 3rd,
Yeah, he's going to spot that, which is pretty huge. Meanwhile, though, since he was able to keep his 3rd alive, it's mining right now. Look at those Colossi, man. They are just so scary. George Orwell has nothing on this game, man.
There's another clump of Colossus.
DT is trying to do some damage here. Does get taken out there, and at the naturally was able to kill a few probes, but will be taken out as well. There he goes.
That is a lot of Colossus there. 6 there for Sage. Puzzle has 5 of his own, a 6th one on the way. Yes. And
7 now out for Sage, and 5 Colossi for Puzzle. 1 more on the way, so it's going to be 7-6 in Sage's favor. This is actually giving me a headache, man. There's too many Colossi. I can't take it anymore. I played too many PvPs last night, Moltrap.
Now what's going to be a big deal in this big battle is when it happens is going to be the micro of those Colossus then, because normally in Colossus versus Colossus, you want to spread yours out so you don't get
and look at this Sage
theirs.
having a much better spread here, and Puzzle knows that he has to retreat, but that blink coming into play here yet again. Oh man, this is going to be so good for Sage if he just continues to push, but he pulls back. He's not certain he's actually going to blink into the main. He actually could walk his Colossi into the main if he wants to too, but he decides not to. He's going to get trapped though. Puzzle is going to get the better concave outside.
Oh no! Yeah, the units are. Whoa! He's
prepared. He's actually prepared himself. Nice.
Wow. Beautiful spread by Sage. He saw that coming. Spread out his Colossus. Because if you have your Colossus clumped up in a ball, then your enemy's Colossus can roast them all at the same time. And 7 Colossus can basically target fire down an enemy Colossus. And I think 1 or 2 volleys. I'm not actually sure about the numbers with that. But so if all of yours are bunched up and theirs aren't, you can lose the battle in seconds.
But Sage is in a really good position here, and with that blink, he can continue to force Puzzle to reposition his units. He's actually going to take out a gateway here, but Puzzle's going to go for it this time, I think. No! Decides to turn back yet again.
Dark Templar harassing the 6 o'clock base at the same time, taking out lots of probes.
Yeah, I like this choice. DT is now up to 5 kills. You can see a lot of workers killed here for a PvP. 12 and 17 respectively. That DT does get taken out, but he forced the entire army of Sage back home. Now he's actually resecured the area around his gold base. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to secure that more. He wants to have his Colossi in a position where he can defend units coming from both sides, but I'd like for him to try to take the area where the gold base is, because that's where the area that Sage keeps focusing on. However, right now Sage is moving around the right side of the map, and Puzzle's going to have to reposition his units because Sage has actually got his Colossi really split here. He may go for it. He's going to go for it. His Colossi and a much better split. Puzzle has to retreat yet again. Repositions his unit. He does have an Archon this time.
Whoa.
He's actually got 2 Archons now.
Beautiful positioning by Sage, going around from the side so he was not positioned correctly, but there's just so many more Colossus.
Oh, the better
Sage,
positioning here for Puzzle now, though, and his Zealots are taking a lot of damage. He actually could come out on top here. It looks like he very well might. Stutter Step microing his Colossi forward. He is going to clean up all the Colossi of Sage, and it looks like Puzzle may just take the Code S medallion right now.
Sage has almost half the supply of Puzzle. Puzzle barreling down the center of the map with several Colossus, a small army of ground forces to boot, and Sage has virtually nothing back at home to defend this. At the very least, he is going to lose this 3rd base and could lose the game in seconds. He's making some Archons right now, but I don't think, Wolf, that those Archons can save him from this massive force
either, man.
of Tripods of Death.
Charge is about to finish for Puzzle as well, so his Zealots will be able to close the distance even faster, even though he only has about 9 of them. He's got 2 Immortals making out of time back at home to defend against possible Blink Stalkers. He's chasing down these probes with a few Colossi.
Oh no.
Only going to take a few swipes to clean those up.
Oh, he turned away, but then the probes decided to actually go after the Colossus and die after all.
Yeah, well,
that was silly of them.
You know, Sage is trying his best to figure something out here. That Colossus in the middle of the map gets spotted and picked off. All these probes are going to die. Sage does not want to give up just yet. He doesn't want to give up that Code S medallion. Puzzle's going to stay in Code S by the looks of things. His Charge Zealot's running in here. The cannon going to help out. A Force Seal goes down, but it is futile. Puzzle just continuing to Stutter Step micro his Colossi forward further and further. And I think this is going to be it, Moltrap.
This is the end. Puzzle going into the natural. GG coming from Sage. And Puzzle, even though he got caught out of position,
time and time again,
micros perfectly and just outplayed Sage in that final battle. And you can see there that he is so relieved to have barely won that last battle.
Well, guys,
clutched the Code S spot out of Sage's hands.
It's very true. Protoss versus Protoss, actually, when you play it at that type of thing, like, I'm actually stressed out, man. I like PvP at that moment gives you like a heart attack because you're like, it's all one battle. And you're like, do I fight here? And you're like, no. And you're like, maybe. And you're like running forward, and you guys saw that a lot in the middle of the map. The Colossi are going like, you're always trying to get an arc. And at that last moment, Puzzle said, now's the time. And Sage was like, yeah. And he started to fight, and he was like, no, it's not the time. My Colossi are in 2 different parts. There's a huge chunk of map in between my Colossi. I don't have the better concave. And he's trying to retreat his Colossi back, but Puzzle, stutter step micro 4, the Colossi were in a bunch, and they all just died instantly. You saw the supply go from 120 to 110 to 120 to 60 in a matter of about 10 seconds.
Yeah. That was
one
what it
wrong
came down
battle,
to.
and that's it, man. That's it.
And it was especially amazing considering the fact that at the beginning of that battle, like Puzzle had his forces arranged like, well, it's gonna be reversed because I'm thinking the map the way I'm looking at it instead of reversing the camera. But he had his forces arranged against an attack this way, and the attack from Sage came around from this side and should have taken him really off guard. And Puzzle's like, whoa, let me actually spread back out into the perfect anti-concave for that direction real quick and lure you into the trap. And Sage was like, all right, I got this. I've got the better position. Whoa, how'd he get in better position so fast?
And the problem was in Belcher Beach, there's that middle area, that's the chunk of trees or whatever, and there's that one other chunk of trees kind of to the right where it kind of blocks off the third base or fourth base, I guess, if you will, the top right base. And he came in between that area.
Yeah.
And if he had engaged when Puzzle's army was trying to refocus, and he pushed through that area where he would have had the better concave, he would have been fine. But Puzzle reacted immediately when he saw that army. He was able to get the better concave. And there he is right there, Puzzle and Sella walking through. Congratulations. He will be taking his Codas medallion. He'll be staying in Codas to fight another day. Sage, however, will stay in Code. He'll have to try again next season. And Puzzle, the Protoss from the future, as I like to call him, might be able to show us some better play this season than he saw last season. We didn't really see very good play from him last season, I have to admit. I expected a lot more from him, but I think he's improved a lot. His PvP certainly is pretty good. He was behind most of that game, and even the DTs caught him a little bit off guard. He lost a lot more workers in the early stages of that game. And, from the beginning, I was like, he's just not playing this right. He has so much extra gas. The best decision he could have made was making 2 robos, and that's what he did. And his opponent had to match him, and then the game got a little bit weird. He had to stop making Blink Stalkers because he was like, well, I can keep this small group of Stalkers for harassment, but I can't beat him if he has 2 more Colossi than me, and we fight. And so he had to go and match the Colossi production. They both got +1. That was the longest PvP you guys will probably ever see in your entire lives.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And, he kind of had that early advantage with the Blink Stalkers so he could harass him, what have you. But he never really made a ton of use out of that advantage. And
we're going to take a little look at our last game's replay for you guys. So,
yeah, this is the crucial battle that we're
look at this.
Before.
He has a better concave now, but he pulls back, and in between those 2 groups of trees is not a really good concave. And see, now he's kind of stuck here where Puzzle has a better arc. And he pulls back, and right there in between those 2 groups of trees, that is where he should not have fought, and that is where he decided to fight, and that is why he lost.
See how clumped up his Colossus are, whereas the actually less Colossus of Puzzle coming from the side are not clumped up. So see the extra damage getting done to the clumped up Colossus of Sage, and that is why he lost that battle. I think Puzzle had a couple extra ground troops as well that soaked up more damage.
Yeah, the Zealots did extra
damage. Look at that. Oh, that is part of why he actually had Colossus just randomly around the map.
Yeah, they were rallied over to the wrong location. Now, the Zealots that took place in that battle actually tanked a lot of damage, and that was the reason why he was forced back to that area he didn't want to engage, because there were too many Zealots, and he wasn't sure. If he had just fought, his Colossi would have arced better, but he pulled back in between the trees. I don't know what else to call them but the trees, but in between those trees, that's where he fought, and that's where you never want to fight. That's where a Terran never wants to fight on that map against Colossi. You never want to fight against Colossi there. Even if you're using Colossi yourself, you don't want to fight there. You wouldn't want to fight Reavers there either, man.
No.
You just wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't want to fight any AoE damage in that.
You wouldn't want to fight Infestors there, man.
Nope.
You wouldn't want to fight High Templar there either.
Don't want to fight them either. You do not want to be caught there when there's Hunter Seeker missiles.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught there if there's a vortex coming in either, man. You don't want to be there.
Nuclear missiles.
Yeah, you don't want
to be there if there's a nuke there.
If there's an EMP, you don't want to be there.
All right, so here is MVP Genius. He actually went 2 wins and 2 losses, not 5 wins and 2 losses.
Yeah, but he fell down, and of course, Puzzle advanced. Zenio went 0-3, actually went 0-4, but is now in Code A. Codas for Gumiho.
Code for Gumio. He did go 3-1. That was correct.
Yeah, that was accurate. And lastly, Sage stays in Code A.
2-2, not 5-2, so he stays in Code A.
Yeah, a bit of those numbers mixed up, but that's fine.
I think we forgot to change the numbers from the tiebreakers from last season. I think those are the numbers of Marine Kings group. Where MC actually got eliminated, I believe, in that one. Anyway, so there's the actual results. Gumio 3-1, Puzzle 3-1, Sage 2-2, Genius 2-2, and Zinio eliminated with a gaping 0-4 deficit. So Gumio and Puzzle are going to be going to Code S. Gumio taking Zinio's spot, and Puzzle securing his own spot. And well fought indeed by all of them.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was an awesome group, and of course, we've got these guys tomorrow: Keen, Oz, Hongen, JYP, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Hongen, of course, group. The Protoss version of Hongen. And so again, 3 Protosses in this group: Keen and Yu-Gi-Oh! The odd men out. Maybe the trend will continue, and Keen will advance as a Terran.
Yeah, the same group composition, I guess. Yeah. 3 Protosses, a Terran, and a Zerg as today. So there you go.
And then on Thursday, well, we won't see Thursday's group. That's not important. There's all Terrans and Lucky. And here is our final I Am MVP Slayers MMA. It's going to be at the Anaheim Convention Center. It's 1 p.m. Korean Standard Time, not noon actually. And of course, that's going to be on Saturday. If you live in Anaheim, it's going to be at 9 p.m. I believe.
Yeah, 9 p.m.
So look forward to that. It's going to be awesome. Look forward to everything else Blizzcon's got coming up. We're going to see what these 3 new units are. What are they? I don't know. Doa actually just posted a blog about it, I heard.
Oh, yeah?
Giving us predictions. You guys should tweet at me at ProxyWolf, tweet at Moltrap at Moltrap.
Yep.
And tweet at everyone, just all the Starcraft people. Let everyone know what you're thinking. I really I've been like searching around, getting ideas from everyone, trying to figure out what it is, because I'm really excited, man. I want to know what those new units are.
And if you follow at Gosu Doa, you can find his tweet. He tweeted about his blog about the units, so you can find out that there if you want to check his blog out.
Yeah, definitely.
Personally, I like to not make predictions and stuff, because it's so easy to get caught up in that, and you're always wrong. So I just kind of wait for the actual announcements to be made.
I'm waiting, man. The announcement is going to be at Blizzcon, which is this weekend. The files are going to be there. Remember, we've got our Blizzcon tournament as well that MVP is going to play, and he may have the opportunity to win.
MVP and Nesty are both going there. Yeah. So it's going to be crazy. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's group of Up and Down matches. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Here at the GOMTV studios in Mokdong, I am Moltrap.
And I am Wolf. See you guys next time.